Reigning champion Scott Reeves, the gentle giant, hails from Coffs Harbour, but now the local legend, a proven endurance athlete, determined to defend his title. And the challengers, blue chip winners themselves, Hendy, Andrews, Martin and Blair, plus the new breed, unknown and unfazed, led by trial winner Kai Hurst. This is the start of the 1997-98 Uncle Toby's Super Series. This is the start of something special.
A golden stretch of sunshine on the famous Gold Coast. This is North Burleigh Beach at Queensland, and this is where it all begins for the boys of summer in the Uncle Toby Super Series for 1997-98. Hello, I'm Matthew White. Wherever you're watching around the country, welcome to North Burleigh for our first race of the Uncle Tobys for this summer. You know, these Ironmen have been ruling our waves now for 9 years, but today is very different. It's also historic. For the first time, the Mercer brothers, Darren and Dean, will compete in the Uncle Toby Super Series, locking horns with other legends of the sport and maybe finally settling some arguments that have been raging over our summers for some 10 years. This is a new venue, but we have two other brand new stops along the way for this season. Let's check out where we're headed. Of course, it's the marathon here at North Burleigh Beach. This is where it all begins. Race 2, we're going to the Central Coast in New South Wales and Copacabana. Race 3 is Trigg Island in Western Australia. Race 4 is Goolwa in South Australia. Back to another new venue, Wanda in New South Wales for race 5. And we'll finish it all off at Portsea in Victoria. Well, Grant Kenny, plenty of new faces, plenty of new venues. This is an exciting year for the Uncle Tobys.
Well, I really look at it as really the start of a whole new era, in fact, and as we've already mentioned, to have Darren and Dean Mercer as a part of the whole event, they've been wanting to race for really since year one, and I know that our top competitors have all wanted to race them, so it's really the best of the best for the first time. There's a whole bunch of old names that have come back. Trevor Hendy is back on the trail with a vengeance after taking a bit of time off to try out for the 96 Olympic team in the sport of kayaking. The list goes on. You know, Scotty Reeves, local boy, really wants to do well. Josh Blair, we've got Kane Houston, all the guys that have been doing so well. Sean Kenny, one of the early stars of the Uncle Toby Super Series way back from the early 90s, is in on a wild card. And of course, there'll be a lot of attention on Kai Hurst, who won the trial with such dominant fashion just about a month ago. So it really will be an exciting series.
All right, Grant, you've done it. You've been there before. Let's check in. Such a terrific performer last year. Number 2, Trevor Hendy. Well, he's back up the top where he belongs. Number 3 is young Joshua Blair. He's the man that many think is the one to beat this year. 4, Guy Andrews, 5, Kane Houston, and 6, Steve Pullen.
In 7th, Nathan Meyer, world Ironman champion. Stephen King, Jonathan Crowe, Simon Martin, Corey Hutchings from New Zealand, training from Manly at the moment, and Glenn Cowdrey in number 12.
Competitor number 13 is Brett Tyack. He had a wonderful winter as well, probably the best we've seen him perform. Craig Hackett in 14, 16 is Lan Dara, 17 Martin Corbett, 18 Matthew Rees, and 19 Michael Walker.
In 20th position, Luke Watson. Dwayne Tyers, a seasoned campaigner, a dual Australian champion, former world champion. Drew Blatchford's in there. Scotty Thompson also been around a while. Michael King went very well in the World Ocean Man Series over the winter months. And Stephen Meredith in 25th.
Let's take a look at 26 down to 31. Remember, there are 35 competitors this season. Heath Colley and Sean Kenny, as Grant mentioned, Sean did get the wild card. He's been in the Uncle Toby Super Series before. Now he's back. Keep your eyes on Kai Hurst. He'll be wearing a gold cap, and he's certainly a golden boy of this series. Drew Cancross, Leon Hay and Boyd Jamison, all trialists.
Bringing up the tail end of the start list anyway, Wes Berg, Sean Parks, those two famous names, Dean and Darren Mercer, and in 36, Mark Williams.
Well, there you have it. That's our start list. Remember, this is the marathon. 1.5 hours of pure torture. Guy Leach, you're going to be out there on the ski yet again. Now, once they get past this shore break, there's not a lot of help for them.
No, there's not really, but the wind has just come up from the east about 10 knots, so I think. It'll probably pick up to about 15 during the race. There's a high tide at 2:30 today. The surf's about 2, maybe 3 foot. Not a lot that's going to do for the guys. You won't see anyone losing boards or skis, I wouldn't think, out there. But during the swim leg, you'll find some guys coming through maybe. High tide at 2:30, as I said, will mean the waves will fill up slightly.
All right, we look forward to your comments out there. You're going to have a tough day. Of course, let's take a look at the course map, because this is what it's all about at North Burleigh. Take us through it, Guy Leach.
Well, we've got the board leg up there right now, the first leg, and that is a T-shaped course, followed by the ski, which is 2.225 kilometres. And then the swim is an M-shaped course today. They come back in through the beach, and that's 900 metres. And they do that twice through.
All right, well, of course, all the talk around here at North Burleigh throughout the week, has been about the Mercer brothers, Darren and Dean. They are competing in this Uncle Toby Super Series for the first time, and I caught up with Darren a short time ago. Well, Darren, it's been a long time coming. Can you believe that you're actually here?
No, I can't actually. I mean, you know, we've been waiting for this chance for 8 seasons now. This is the ninth year that it's been going. So, you know, we thought it'd never come around, but it finally has, and we're really excited about the whole thing.
Just a unique opportunity to compete against the best athletes this country has to offer, and even though Darren and I's achievements we've achieved over the last probably 10 years, we've still always been compared against these guys, and I have absolute respect for every one of these athletes here, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to race these guys.
Well, Scotty, first time defending your title as the Uncle Toby Super Series champion. Tell us a little bit about pressure.
There's a period of pressure. I've been trying to, most of the pressure's come off myself, because I wanted to do so well this year and try and back up last year's performance. And in the last 2 years I've done well, so there's a lot of pressure on myself, but I don't think there's any from anyone else.
Well, Kai, your first time in the Uncle Toby Super Series, how are you feeling going into it, and what are your dreams or expectations for the year?
My dreams are just to go out there, have fun. You know, those guys are pretty big and everything on the ski, so, you know, they got a bit of size over me this year.
Yes, keep your eyes on young Kai Hurst. He blitzed him in the trials. Big expectations on young Kai Hurst, and also some big money up for grabs. Take a look at that. Wouldn't you like that in your bank after a day at the beach? Race 1, they'll be racing for $85,000 here. That'll go all the way down to race 6, and there is a bonus pool of $73,800 plus a beautiful Holden Frontiera. You know, a man with a pretty tough job throughout this summer down in the hot sand of the beach is Tim Bailey, but I think he's found a way to make it bearable.
It can be a lonely old place, the Gold Coast, Wally. It's a bit of a battle down here, but we're managing to soldier on like true professionals. What have we got for you weather-wise on the Gold Coast? Weather? Is there weather about? Yes, we better concentrate. 27 degrees, a glorious day today. It's even warm in the water, 21 degrees. We've got about a 5 to 10 kilometre-an-hour northeaster and an incoming tide that will peak at around about...
Living room. Look at the master. There he is, just on your screen. That was Trevor Hendy. Now we're coming down for our competitors. They're getting ready for 1.5 hours of pure torture here at North Burleigh, where it is very hot. The sun is very hot also. Matt Rees on your screen. He's in there as well. Luke Watson wearing number 20. The old campaigner ducking behind Michael King is Dwayne Tyes. And also in this lineup, as we've mentioned, Darren and Dean Mercer competing against the Uncle Toby's Ironman for the first time in a long time. And as we said at the top of this show, Grant Kenny, this is an exciting time.
Yes, it certainly is, and this, I think, is going to be a race with a hell of a lot of pace off the start, and they're about ready to go. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be tremendous.
And we're away for round 1 of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Well, Trevor Hendy's got a slight grin on his face. He won't have it shortly, because there's 600 metres of soft sand running, and just as Grant Kenny said, the pace is pretty frenetic all the way off the start line. Tim Bailey's down there. The heat factor, Tim, it's pretty hot.
Oh, it's sizzling down here. The crowd goes up as one. A little bit of history here at North Burleigh today. This is surf lifesaving at its best. Scotty Reeves leading the pack. That's fitting. He's number 1 in the series, the defender.
And also moving up there is Michael Walker. Michael Walker wearing the sunglasses. He's striding alongside now. Trevor Hendy, the master, is back. Nathan Meyer, the World Ironman champion, moves up and makes his move. Can you have any more changes in the opening run leg? That's Boyd Jamieson. Well, Boyd Jamieson has surprised them all and taken off past Trevor Hendy. This is only the opening stages, don't forget. But Boyd Jamieson making his move early.
Yes, he is, and very uncharacteristic of Trevor Hendy to be so far up the front in the run leg of a race. Normally, Trevor, he's such an experienced competitor. He knows he can hang back and he makes his way through the field as the race goes on. Not today, though. He's straight out to stamp a bit of authority.
There your faces. That's the face of pain as they go around the Holden 4x4 turn. They head back down towards the beach now. 600 metres to begin things. Then they'll go to the water's edge, pick up their boards and go in for 1.5 kilometres worth of paddling. Well, here's another fresh face, Sean Parks. Sean Parks said to me earlier he had to go through the trial again. He did it last year. He said to me he doesn't want to do it one more time, so he wants to make his mark. He wants to finish up in the placings so he doesn't have to do it all the time.
Sean had a great finish to last year's series. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good start, so that let him down in terms of overall points, and that's the reason that he had to go through the trial. But he's a fantastic runner, as you can see. He's also a very good board paddler, having won the Australian Championship last year.
Well, here they go, just about to hit the water. Sean Parks is first to pick it up, but this is going to be mayhem because there's plenty there, Tim.
There are, mate, and there's about a half-metre shore break. They've got to run over a little bit of a sandbank. They're over that one, the lead guys. Boards, colours, caps everywhere. Great pictures as they head off. It's about a half-metre before they get into the open surf. The nor'easter really chopping it up. Colourful. Have a look at that. Great pictures.
Oh, sensational stuff here at North Burleigh Beach as the Ironman hit the water for the first time this summer. And on your screen, that looks like Sean Parks. He's going to lead them out. The wind has certainly picked up. The swell certainly picked up just a little bit. You would have seen, if you hadn't watched our Meadow League Iron Women's Series, that along this shore break there's quite a bit of dead water, quite a bit of gutter, and that's where the Ironmen will get trapped. Some have gone off to the other side of the beach along the left, but most are heading straight out, and leading them out there, that's Sean Parks. He's negotiated all the breaks now, and he'll be heading right out to take the first can with the packs chasing.
I tell you what, this is an incredible lead so early in the race, because not only is Sean clearly good in the run, but he's also a very good board paddler. As I said, he won the Australian Championship. He's very, very determined to do well this season. He's been training very hard. I know things have been going very well for him. He is very psyched up to do well. Now, to open up this sort of a gap in these conditions, Matty, he could actually take it away from here, but gee, that'll make it a hard day's racing for him.
Well, in the corresponding race last year, Grant, Sean finished 24th at Duranbar. That was our marathon, not far from here. And now he's up ahead, the 24-year-old accountant. He's from Alexander Headlands in Queensland, and that's who he races for. And this is what he's racing for as far as money goes. $15,000 up for the winner of round one of the Uncle Toby Super Series. $11,250 for second, $9,350 for third, right down to fifth placing. And the money, well, there's plenty on offer today. There's not only prestige racing on this, but also plenty of cash. Right down to 10th position, almost $2,500. A little bit over $2,500 as they head out now on the board leg. Guy Leach is out there. Sean Parks, they've started to catch him just a fraction, or no, he's still got a bit of a lead.
No, they haven't started catching him yet. Trevor Hendy's back with Drew Blatchford, Scotty Reeves there as well, which I'm looking across at. Then there's a big row of people behind there. Michael Walker's up there. But Sean Parks is a great soft sand runner, very light, not really built as an Ironman, you wouldn't think. He's a very light sort of guy, probably only weighs around the 70 kilo sort of range, where the most of the guys are 80 kilos and up. But he's a fantastic board paddler, as Grant said, Australian champion, and he's doing a Phil Clayton here of last year in the endurance race, and taking the field right out. Although Trevor Hendy's looking very relaxed in second place at the moment.
Leachy, looking back there, looks like Drew Blatchford, who's lying down, who's now in front of that second pack. A fair bit different, the style between the lying down and kneeling up. Obviously, the guys kneeling up, they lay down for a little while to get a rest, but Drew pretty much lies down the whole time.
Well, that's right. He's found over his career that he's better, or he's faster at lying down than what he is at kneeling up, which is unusual. And if you have a good look at his board, you get a chance during the day, the red board that he's on, it's shaped completely different to the other guys, and that's because of the fact that he lies down. And I would find it quite hard if I was racing lying down the whole time. You just don't get that rest with the rest of your body. You're in that position that makes it quite hard, but certainly suits him. Interesting, Sean Parks has gone off course. He's gone out to the white Uncle Toby's can, not the black one in close, and he's just realised that he's changed course and he's coming back in.
It looks from here, Leachy, in fact, as though the guys may have in fact closed a bit of a gap because of that mistake, but the benefit, as we can see him now, he's actually pulling onto a little chop. Because the wind is pretty much directly on shore, they're not going to get much of swell assistance going north or south along the course. It'll only be on the runs in. So you think, has Sean been able to maintain his lead there, or is it are they caught him up?
No, he actually has lost about 3 or 4 board lengths, and when the other guys saw that he actually went out to sea, they picked the pace up. Trevor Hendy's picked the pace up, and Drew Blatchford also, and they've actually halved his lead that he had about a minute ago.
Well, that's Sean Parks. That's the picture from our chopper. You can see the lead that he's got, but the pack is chasing down. As they mentioned, Sean Parks is the Australian Open Board champion of 1997. And down on the sand here at North Burleigh, Tim Bailey's got another champion, and Sam Riley.
Can't keep her away from the water. The most famous smile in Australian swimming. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks, Tim.
Listen, what an exciting time to be in Australian swimming. The World Trials in Brisbane, you blitzed them, and the team is just so strong.
It is. We have an amazing depth of Australian swimming at the moment. There's so many youngsters there, and it really is keeping us older ones, I guess, really motivated and training hard.
Tell me, you were very pleased personally with the 100 and the 200?
That's right. I actually did a personal best time in the 100, so I hadn't swum that fast in 3 years, so I was very excited about that. And I've had a great year all round. Actually, I've just been improving from each meet that I've been swimming at, and hopefully, that form can continue until January.
You were just saying it's a great time to be at the forefront of Australian sport. There's money to be made, and with world titles in our backyard in the Olympics, it's just must be a dream come true.
It is. It couldn't be better. I mean, 2000, I guess, is maybe my retirement year, and I think it couldn't be better with having the home crowd advantage and competing for the Olympics at the Olympics for your home country, in your home country. It's just amazing.
It'll be a huge buzz. You love the stillwater swimming. What about the ocean stuff, the Ironmen? They're great athletes, aren't they?
They definitely are very versatile, and I love watching it, actually. It's freestyle is one of my worst strokes, so I really admire them.
All right, Sam, thanks for taking time out. Sam Riley, the great Australian champion. Back to you, Matty, and all the action.
Thanks very much, Tim. Yes, she is back, Sam Riley, and we'll be back from North Burleigh Beach for round one of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Stick around. Welcome back to the sunshine of North Burleigh Beach as we take a sweeping shot over this field full of colour and full of pain at the moment because they're heading in for the board leg. 1.5 kilometres. They've already been down to the southern end of North Burleigh Beach. Now they're heading back up towards the headland and still out in front, still carrying all the responsibility as far as leadership goes. It's Sean Parks as he turns the Uncle Toby's can. And right behind him, there's a couple of competitors there, and that's Leon Hay. Young Leon Hay just came in second position. Leon Hay has moved into second position. Well, some pretty big upsets, Grant Kenny, because as 12.5 minutes tick by in this hour-and-a-half marathon, not only are some young names there, but also, as we just saw, some old names sliding through too.
Yes, Dwayne Ty's up in that lead pack, and this will be a good start for him. I know he's been working very hard. Guy Andrews well back. I saw Michael King well back in the field there too. Gee, there's Craig Hackett. So there's a lot of big names in the back of the pack at this early stage. So that is, I guess, for some of the competitors, it's not that unusual, but certainly with so many competitors, and you can't afford to be sitting too far back.
13 minutes gone now on our Holden race clock. Let's go to Guy Leach. Guy, Sean Parks got himself a little bit of a run, still got himself a pretty handy lead.
Yeah, he didn't have his pulled ahead again once going around that can there. Kane Hughes has moved into second place. Wes Berg's up there. Dwayne Ty's has just come past me. Scotty Reeves is next. And don't discount Kai Hurst. He's in the top 8 at the moment, the youngster from the Central Coast in Sydney, who is just the best swimmer in this field. He's unbelievable. You wait and you see him. If he can get through the ski leg and then get onto the swim, the next leg after that, he could do some amazing things.
Well, I guess the key to the whole thing really does come down to the upcoming ski leg, and you know what we're seeing so far is a very good display of those competitors that are good runners and board paddlers. Obviously, Sean Park's very good there, but it'll be telling. In fact, Sean, if he can maintain this lead, will go into the next run. He'll probably, in fact, come out of the run a long way in front. But then it's onto the ski, and you mentioned Kai Hurst, and I think that's going to be one of the really interesting things, Leachy. Kai did an absolutely magnificent job in the trial. He led by a long, long way. He's in with the big boys now, and I think it's pretty well recognised amongst the competitors, but it's his ski leg that may let him down, if anything.
Well, that's true. I really think this guy's the heir apparent. I think within 3 years he can be winning Uncle Toby's races and doing it quite well. He lacks the strength at the moment. He's actually not that bad on the ski. I paddled with him down in Sydney on kayaks, and he's actually not too bad, but he's still a youngster, and it's going to take a few years for him to build up. But it's the likes of Scotty Reeves, Trevor Hendy, Dwayne Ty's at the moment. Corey Hutchings back in about 7th position. Trevor Hendy's behind him in 8th. They're the guys in the ski league that will come through, and it'll be very interesting to see whether Kai Hurst can actually hang with these guys.
Sean Parks gets himself a little run. He's managed to stay on the top of it, but just dipped off the back. Well, he bought himself an extra 10 or 15 metres. We might stick with Sean Parks for a while. Let's see if he can bring it back down to the beach. He's got another run. This one, he'll get across the top. Working. Look at the arms. Look at the power now. Well, you'd think he'd be able to relax, and he finally does.
Well, that was a great bit of work from Sean Parks. Let's bear in mind he's been going for almost 20 minutes now. He's had to work extremely hard to pull onto that wave, and that's just really secured that little lead that he had, opened it up, in fact, now to about 30 metres. So Sean Parks sits up now and takes a well-deserved rest as he's about to hit the beach for the next run leg, which will be another 900 metres.
Don't worry about the people behind him. That's Scott Reeves, Dwayne Tyes and Leon Hay. So he's got some people chasing him. Also at the top of your screen, you've got another competitor there. Looks like Stephen King. Might be Stephen King. We'll check that out shortly. But here they come. Tim Bailey, the race is on to try and catch Sean Parks.
Yeah, Sean Parks, great board leg there from the current Australian champion. He looks over his shoulder, and guess who's doing the chasing? The man with the number 1 on his shoulder, Scott Reeves. So they're chasing him, but Sean Parks, interestingly, is a strong runner as well, so he's playing to his strengths at this stage of the race.
The rest of the field coming in now. Well, Sean Parks really will be able to look back at this when all this is said and done and say that I bought myself valuable time. All that hard work, all that energy that he expended to get on that wave, he was managed to be able to sit down and have a quick rest, and now look at the lead he's got, probably around about 60 metres as they round the Holden 4x4 turn.
Absolutely, and I think that, you know, he's a smart enough campaigner to realise that it's early days. This is going to be a long race. It's going to be about an hour and a half. We're only sort of 15 or 20 minutes into it at this stage, so he can't have gone out too hard. He must be comfortable with the pace he's going, and it's always good to have a couple of legs early that you're really comfortable at and very good at, and to be able to get through them without really overextending yourself. The tough time's going to be for him now is that he's now going to run the rest of the race on his own. The pack behind can work together, and that's always a little easier.
We'll talk about the pace he's going. Take a look at that. He's already done 600 metres worth of running, 1.5 Ks worth of board paddling, and as you saw, his arms would be burning by this stage because he really had to work hard to get himself to the beach first. But now Sean Parks is out in front. He's the one leading this Uncle Toby Super Series for round 1. Well, you wouldn't have guessed it, but certainly he would. He's put in plenty of hard work. He doesn't want to go back through the trials. He wants to burn these guys off and finish a little bit further up than he did last year. And he's got, well, it's actually pretty tight, because as he came out of the water to finish that board leg, he only had a couple of seconds on the competitors that came through. There it is in our Uncle Toby's race update. Sean Parks and Leon Hay, they pretty much hit it all together. Scott Reeves, the defending champion, only half a second behind. Dwayne Tyes, 1.5 seconds. Kane Houston, just under 3 seconds behind. Then Drew Blatchford, 7th at the moment. Trevor Hendy, Lane Darragh, Steve Pullen, and Watson as well in 10th position. Stephen King, Wes Berg, Corey Hutchings, and Nathan Meyer and Michael King, who's coming back after an injury-plagued series last year. He's really trying to make amends for it. Joshua Blair, the man who many think is the one to catch this season. Matthew Reeves and Meredith right down to 20th position. And it's heavy work because the heat down there, Sean Parks has got to do it all himself. He's not only racing against his heat, he's racing against, he's having his own mind game.
Yeah, that's right. As we watch the rest of the competitors come through, Parks is out there. One good thing about that is you settle into your own rhythm. And let's just have a look at some of the back markers coming through here. Gee, there are some big names. I just caught the face of Darren Mercer there, and I noticed that Dean Mercer was well back too. So it is early days, and I would expect, I know that Dean in particular is very tenacious. He works very hard, and I don't think should be discounted at this early stage of the race. But there's Trevor Hendy going around there now. Kai Hurst, who we've heard so much about. There's young Stephen King, Luke Watson. We've got
Nathan Meyer
there, the world champion. Number 32 is Wes Berg. Here comes Steve Pullen. Michael King right behind him. Gee, he had a good World Ocean Man series. Surprised to see him back. Josh Blair was also one of the star campaigners through the winter months.
And big Simon Martin. Well, he had a disappointing year last year. There's Sean Kenny coming through as well. Now, we should catch the Mercers in this group. There you have one of them. That's Dean Mercer. And here comes Darren Mercer. Well, don't write off these guys yet. They know they're in a pretty big race. They've been looking forward to it all week. They really are excited to be part of the Uncle Toby Super Series. They've had a lot of coordination and thanks from their fellow athletes out there. And as Dean said, he respects every one of these guys out there, and he wants to make a pretty big move. Now they head out onto the ski leg. They are all chasing Sean Parks, and of course it'll be interesting to see how Kai Hurst, the young golden boy, really makes his move on there, and whether he can hold his position, because this is what it's all about in the ski. And one man who certainly knows plenty about gold, one man who knows about skiing and paddling as well, joins us in the commentary box. It's a pleasure to have him here. Clint Robinson, a gold medal winner at Barcelona. Well, thanks for joining us here, and you've been out there, you know what it's all about, and this is the hard part.
Yeah, very much so, Matt. The ski paddling discipline is something that you have to be able to maintain consistency throughout the whole leg, because the smaller, weaker guys suffer a lot in ski paddling, especially through the break and catching those runners coming into the beach, where they can lose so much ground on a stronger guy that will capitalise on those areas.
Yeah, Clint, today I was just talking to Leachy earlier about the way the wind's pretty much blowing right on shore, and normally in this T-shaped sort of a course, you'd expect to get some runs running up and down the beach, but today the due easterly, you don't get that, or at least it's not as obvious, but there are little lumps out there.
Yeah, very much so, Grant. It's something that you have to find a rhythm very, very quickly on a ski. The skis are 18 kilos. The paddles are all around about 6'6" each, and for these guys in surf lifesaving, so they have to be able to find their comfort zone and roll it over. And when the heat's bearing down on your day, if you don't do that, it's very, very difficult.
Well, Clint, you spent 3.5 years as an Uncle Toby's Ironman, then you went off and chased your Olympic dream. You picked up a gold medal. You've been back to Atlanta. You've done it pretty much all. What have you been up to lately, and would you like to be out there?
Yes, I would love to be out there. I was talking to a couple of people today when they said, are you missing the racing? And I said, I'm missing the racing very much. But when I know people are preparing for an Olympic Games in Europe, where my sport is dominated, and there's probably literally millions of paddlers out there that would love to knock me off, it certainly keeps me focused on my task. So yes, I miss the racing, but I also know where I'm headed. You've
got a job to do, mate. Yeah, and congratulations on all your efforts in the past too. Of course, a bronze medal at Atlanta is a fantastic achievement, on top of your gold in particular from Barcelona. This is the leg that Clint Robinson's always dominated. And Clint, it's interesting, most people would understand that the competitors are huffing and puffing at this part of the race because they've been going for quite some time now, and it's obviously a full-on race. It's very, very competitive. What most people don't realise is that you're using a lot of your breathing muscles, a lot of your stomach and abdomen as some of the primary muscles that you use when you paddle.
Exactly, Grant, and especially when you're on the ski, because you can't do it so much in the board because you're in that crouched position. But when you're sitting on the ski and when you're running at the two legs, you've really got to do what I call stomach breathing. You've got to rip it right from the base of your stomach and get as much oxygen into the blood so the blood can keep turning out a good performance without too much lactic build-up, and that's something the athletes have to work on.
Comments from one of the best in the business, one of the best in the world, certainly at this caper, Clint Robinson. Thank you very much, Clint. We'll ask you to stick around. Let's go out now to Guy Leach. Guy, Sean Parks, they're a little bit haywire over there. They're spread eagle across the field as they make their way down.
Well, that's right. Sean Parks has been overtaken since you last spoke. Scott Reeves has come to the front. I paddled with Kane Houston halfway down the course. He's in second place now and going very strongly. I'm looking back now. Dwayne Tyers is there as well. I can see Trevor Hendy in about 6th position. Stephen King's there. Michael King's flying through on his ski in about 10th position. So the strong ski paddlers, the older guys, the guys who have been around a fair bit, are coming through right now.
What about Dwayne Tyers, Leachy? Dwayne was, I guess, surprisingly up a long way towards the front of the pack after the opening run. He's, of course, a very good board paddler and held on through that. And we also know him as a good ski paddler. Is he still up near the leaders?
Well, Dwayne is in 4th position. I can just spot him now as I turn around now and come back with the guys in the ski. We've still got Scotty Reeves out in front. Yes. Kane Houston's next, yeah. And then 3rd place, that's Sean Parks. And Dwayne is in 4th place, clear right now, with Michael King and Stephen King coming up the rear.
Well, of course, Trevor Hendy has had a go at making the Olympic team for the 1996 Olympic Games. So, and that was, of course, in the sport of kayaking. Obviously, he's going to be very strong, Matt, in this ski leg, and we should expect to see him come right through. And I noticed that Michael King was right near him as he came around, and Kingy also is one of the very strong ski paddlers in this field.
What about Scott Reeves? He is the local boy. He lives about 2.5 minutes from North Burleigh Surf Club. Absolutely loves it here. He brought back the Uncle Toby's Super Series title in 96-97 and brought it back to this surf club. They love him here, but I can tell you that he hasn't been in the water almost all week. Scotty Reeves has been sick. He's had conjunctivitis, and he's also had a throat problem as well. So he's been laid low for almost 4 or 5 days. But look at him, out in front now at his home beach, and he's racing pretty hard.
Well, interestingly, a little bit of, not necessarily sickness as we watch Dwayne Tyers, a little bit of time off before a race is lost on some of these competitors through injury or illness or something like that. It gives them the opportunity to really freshen up and go well in a race, because I personally think that a lot of them train too hard leading up to the event, and it's almost forced rest. So obviously it's working well. If you're able to, in fact, fully physically recover during that time, it actually leaves you in a good state to race.
Dwayne Tyers doing the hard yards as he moves up alongside Scott Reeves. This is round 1 of the Uncle Toby's Super Series, and we're not even halfway through the marathon. Hope you can stay with us. Welcome back to the Uncle Toby Super Series as we zero in on two pretty big names in this sport, and one of the biggest right in the middle of your screen. He's got the blue cap with the white star in the middle of it, number 2 on his arm, and his name is Trevor Hendy. And as Grant said, Trevor's desperately trying to pursue an Olympic career in the sport of kayaking. Clint, let's get your form guide from a gold medal winner in this form.
Well, when you have a look at Trevor Hendy there, if you notice the size of the guy who is just in front of him, he's actually wash riding him, which is trying to make it a heck of a lot easier for him to paddle and keep up with the leaders. Now, that guy's name is Simon Martin. He is a very, very big competitor. Trevor is doing it very, very easily. Just have a look at his stroke rate, how much lower it is at the majority of the time in compared to the competitors around him. Trev's preparing himself for an hour and a half and not 45 minutes.
And as you saw in our Holden profile, Trevor Hendy, of course, is a 4-time winner of the Uncle Toby Super Series. There's no doubt about it. He's a legend of this sport, and he's really trying to get back up. Surprisingly, last year he was running around with number 21 on his singlet. Now he's back where it belongs, number 2 on the arms.
Yeah, certainly, and you know, he's got a lot of work ahead of him, but he knows that. He's certainly very well prepared for it mentally, and what a great shot of the crowd in the background too. We do have a great crowd here today to see the action at North Burleigh as we watch Michael King and Trevor Hendy, but these guys have got a little bit of work to do. There's probably about 50 metres or so from them back to the front, or ahead to the front of the pack. And I can tell you that there is a new leader now, and that is Kane Houston. So Kane Houston it is, who's now sitting just in front of the local boy Scott Reeves. So the two of them, in fact, have opened up a little bit of a gap. Guy Leach is right alongside Trevor and Kingy at the moment. How does the pace look, Leachy? Are they look to be working, or are they just taking this tactically?
No, they're working, mate. They're all putting in enough effort. Certainly Kane Houston came from the clouds. He did a great job. I stayed with him for about half a leg on the way back out, and the pace was quite fast. Simon Martin's looking strong. Trevor looks like he's just sitting. Michael King looks like he wants to do some work. And Scotty Thompson's, I'm next to him right now. He's the last one in this front group. Then I look back over my shoulder, and we've got about a 6-ski gap back to Nathan Meyer. Then we've got the youngster, Kai Hurst, back there. Then there's a whole host of guys. So the main guys, they're the bunch at the moment leading into the swim league. They're the ones you'll be looking for, the first 15 guys. And
Leach, you're obviously finding it a little bit difficult to talk and paddle at the same time, mate, to keep up with these guys.
Yeah, it's sort of hard when you're trying to get a breath in. Even for me, mate.
We'll give you a break, mate. We'll give you a break. Thanks very much for that. It's great to have you out there on the water so close to the action. But we get a good shot now back out to sea from the shoreline, and it's Kane Houston now making his way in towards the turning mark. And Scott Reeves right behind him, so not much in the way of waves, but they've just made that turn. You can see they've got about another 150 metres to paddle along the shore before they'll make the right turn and make their way into the break. Now, Reeves needs to be in very close contact with Houston as he makes his way in so that they can both come in on the same wave.
And as you would have just seen on our Holden race clock, just under 30 minutes ticking on by, so we're a third of the way through this race. They're still out there, and Kane Houston is out in front. Well, he has a Rottweiler dog at home. I think he's going to need the bite of a Rottweiler to keep Scotty Reeves off the back of his ski, because Scott Reeves knows that he knows every little run on this beach. He knows all about it. He said to me that it doesn't throw up that many surprises, but really when they get down into this shore break, when they get down into that gutter, that's where it gets difficult.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, too, in this race, they're going to come in and out of the break so many times that, you know, if people start making mistakes, it'll start costing ground, and you've got to be consistent. You can't afford to make a mistake at any time. Look at Kane Houston as we speak. He's working hard, makes his way across to the left there and pulls onto a little runner. Reeves has gone to the right or to the left of screen, and he's also got a little swell. So you can see how small that wave is. It's only about a half a foot, but it's enough for these skis to run in on. So both of them sit back wisely now and take a little bit of a break.
Well, there'll be pretty much nothing splitting them as they come through, but Kane Houston has managed to stay on top of his wave. Scotty Reeves also. That's your, Scott Reeves on the left-hand side of your screen. Kane Houston will be first up. He'll get off his ski first. Starts a little bit of a run, but by the time he gets up there, Scott Reeves will almost be, well, he's going to be about 10 metres behind him, Tim Bailey.
Well, Tim's obviously tied up down there. Reeves is off. Now, that was interesting as they came in, Matt, those two waves, that one wave split into two, and Scotty Reeves' wave came in second. Dwayne Tyson is who's third off, and looking very strong. It's great to see him back up there. Dwayne, of course, 34 years of age, a 2 times Australian Ironman champion and a former world champion. Saw Michael King get off his ski there, so Trevor Hendy must be in close to him. back. There's Hendy now. Hendy's right alongside Scott Thompson. Scott Thompson's another seasoned campaigner and a great runner.
Let's go down to Tim Bailey. Tim, a third of the way through the race, but the pace is still there.
Well, that's it, and it's the first race of the season. It is really hot down here on the beach at the moment. It's a marathon, so the boys are doing their first soft sand running, their first paddling for the season. A few of them are doing it hard too. We're not even at the halfway mark, and the looks of anguish on the faces here, a lot of gritting of the teeth. There goes the Mercers there right through past me. Guy Andrews too, surprisingly well back. It's hard work today, really hot, and with a dry wind as well.
Yeah, this is where it really starts to stick in your throat. When you're running along this soft sand, you've got the heat, you've got the soft sand underneath your feet, and it really starts to hurt because the breaths start to get shorter and shorter.
They sure do, and there's a long way to go too. We're not even at the halfway mark of this race. We've only had a swim. We're 31 minutes into it, almost 32 minutes into the race. The competitors have done a run. They've been out on the board for 1.5 kilometres, back onto the beach for another run in this hot sand, back out on the ski for 2.25 kilometres. Now the run, and then they're back into the water for a swim. After they've finished the swim, they'll do it all again. So really, we've got a long way to go. Kane Husner looks fantastic, and Tim mentioned the Mercers. Now, as they went into that ski leg after the board and run, the opening board and run legs, they were well back. They've now come right back up, somewhere around midfield. So I think the guys are still in there and in touch at least, but a fair way back, I'd say. In fact, I can look outside and see it's probably about 100 metres back to Dean Mercer.
Let's take a look at this Uncle Toby's race update for you. Kane Husner is out in front. Scott Reeves, the defending champion, that's him on your screen, just going through now, around 4.5 seconds back. In 6th position is Stephen King. Trevor Hendy's in the top 10, so too another former champion, Michael King. Watson is there, and Scotty Thompson moved up into 10th position. This is after the ski, so this is as they hit the beach for this run leg that you're watching. Stephen King goes through now. Trevor Hendy and Scott Thompson right on his shoulder. Great to see Scotty Thompson back up. He had some bad luck last year. He had some terrible luck down at Portsea where he had a broken ski, but he's just such a great campaigner. He's 1 year younger to the day than Dwayne Tyes, who's the oldest man. Let's go down to Timmy Bailey. Hard work still.
Yeah, it is, and we've got a fella down here that knows all about speed, Tony Longhurst. That drive at Bathurst was fantastic, except for a little thing called a throttle cable. I mean, you passed 25 cars in the opening laps.
Yeah, it was fantastic, but I haven't got over it. Look, it's such a hard pill to swallow. We had a really good chance of winning the race. I knew Larry had to come in for 2 stops. I only had to do 1 stop. I'm sitting back and thinking, how good's all this? Like, I've got it sewn up, and 1 second later, I'm parked like the rest of them.
Listen, you're all about speed. I noticed you in the Thundercats jumping over the waves earlier. How was that? For the people at home, Thundercats are rubber duckies with big horsepower motors that fly through the surf.
Too dangerous. The adrenaline got going, and I was right into it. So my first race, I finished 3rd, so I was pretty pleased with that, but pretty dangerous.
By the way, there's a bit of a cabin cruiser out there. If we can just go out and see that. That is Tony Longhurst's cabin cruiser. He has got the best view of this Ironman racing. And Longhurst, you're taking Bailey home. You know that, don't you?
Take you to Hog's Breast tonight for a beer, eh?
Thank you very much. I'm hard to get. Back to the racing.
I tell you what, he normally drives a Holden, but that thing he's got out there is pretty golden, and he's soaking up the sunshine in it as well. Tim Bailey's got his ride home. They move into the swim leg. 900 metres back out in this beautiful water here at North Burleigh Beach. Kane Husner is leading the way. He's the quiet achiever. He doesn't say much, Kane Husner. Down at Freshwater, he was the last man standing after our survival format last year, and just terrific stuff. He's leading this Uncle Toby Super Series, race 1 at North Burleigh. Hope you can stay with us. Let's see where he is on the other side of the break. And as our Ironman make their way through this beautiful blue water, Guy Leach is right next to the pack. What's happening down there, Guy? It looks like Kane Husner still has a pretty healthy lead.
Well, Kane Husner's pulled about 15 body lengths on the rest of the field. Michael King's come up, Dwayne Tyes has come up, Simon Martin's there, Scotty Reeves, I can see Trevor Hendy, also Scotty Thompson. The Mercers aren't in this pack. Nathan Myers there, also Sean Parks. But let me tell you, Kane Husner's one strong competitor. He might not talk much, but he's talking by his actions, and he's just a magnificent swimmer. And I tell you what, he's looking very, very good.
Yeah, it's great to see Dwayne Tyes and even Simon Martin, for that matter, come forward, because They were back, well, Dwayne wasn't, but Simon certainly was. He's come right back into contention after a poor couple of years. And if you remember a couple of years back, he had an absolutely fantastic race in the Gold Coast Gold. But I noticed Kai Hurst, Leach, has come through the pack, and we can see him on screen now. So as predicted, Kai Hurst has come right up in this swim leg and is now shoulder to shoulder with Michael King, who's the competitor that was doing backstroke there, having a little look behind him for any sort of a wave. And I can tell you that up the front on the bottom of your screen, Kane Hughesner has pulled a little wave. So that's great luck there for Kane Hughesner. He's really worked hard to pick that up. And out the back, Matt, there's about 4 or 5 competitors on a wave with a half a dozen others standing up waiting.
Well, 3 of them have got this next one, Grant, and Kai Hurst is one of them. Kai Hurst on the left-hand side of your screen. That's him standing up. But on the beach already is Kane Hughesner. It'll be interesting to see. There's Kai Hurst waiting out there. He'll dive in, take himself all the way in, caught in that little bit of a gutter. Terrific swim from Kai Hurst. He's got himself all the way up into second, third. Well, he's definitely in the top 5 as he gets out of the water. Tim Bailey, what type of lead has Kane Hughesner got?
Kane Hughesner's got about 50 metres up his sleeve. It is his strongest leg. He says the swim, he's going well. So he's got 50 metres, but they're coming thick, they're coming fast.
And it's interesting to see, Tim, a lot of the competitors are doing a hard right turn and running right back down to the southern end of the beach so that they can cross the gutter at its shortest point and get back onto the sandbank to wade out.
That's exactly right, GK. What's happened is there is a big, easy path all the way out. There is almost a highway of shallow water, apart from a little deep gutter close to shore. Then you can wade all the way out, dive under the white water and start your swim. So everybody is taking the shortcut home, a sandbank, straight out to sea.
Well, Kane Hughesner's been slowed down a little as he tries to negotiate his way through the shore break, but behind him, well, you could throw a blanket over the rest of the field chasing second place. There's probably about 10 competitors all heading out, chasing second and third place at this time. They're all chasing Kane Hughesner, of course. He's heading on back out, and it's anyone's race. Look for Kai Hurst again. Guy Leach, you must have seen the form of Kai Hurst. You know that he's a terrific swimmer, and we knew that he'd come up there, but did you expect that he could come all the way up put himself into position for second and third place?
I'll tell you what, this guy's a freak. He's just like Phil Clayton last year and the year before with the fact that he's just good at every leg. His ski leg will get stronger as he gets older. But, I mean, look at him. He's up here halfway through the race. He's had the first ski leg, and he's been able to handle it. He won the 800 freestyle, and they got second. That's right. He just got beaten in the 800 freestyle at the trials for the World Championships, and this kid's just a youngster. He's a teenager. So I would be surprised if he didn't halve the gap to Kane Hughesner. He's back in second place now. There's about a 15-metre lead to Kane Hughesner as I sit here watching him come up. He's got a great swimming stroke. He's very long, very easy gliding. Head up looking for Kane Hughesner, looking for the boy. Behind him, Stephen King's sitting in there, and also Simon Martin. Trevor Hendy's back in 4th. Then there's the gap back to Dwayne Tyers. Michael King's on my side. Nathan Myers there as well. Scotty Thompson's there. And also Sean Parks. But Kai Hurst has actually pulled a gap on the rest of the field, and he's after Kane Hughesner as we speak.
Yeah, well, we can see on the top left of the screen was the Uncle Toby's place updates, and it's been interesting looking through those. But Kai Hurst, it's interesting, you know, I haven't really seen a swimmer, a competitor, a champion Ironman of such dominance in the swimming. I mean, over the years, you've had great surf swimmers, the likes of Craig Brittington and so on, that have become champion Ironmen, but we've never really seen anybody who's been a champion Ironman and in actual fact been in contention for the Olympic Games in swimming, which is going to be an interesting thing if he can make a career of this.
Let's take a look at Kane Hughesner as he rounds the buoy. This is our Holden profile. Not surprisingly, his strongest leg in the swim. Well, that's where he's doing all his business now. His favourite event couldn't get any further away from what he's doing at the moment. He prefers the sprint. Well, I think he'll prefer the marathon if he can keep this going, because we've had 42 minutes of this race. There is an hour and a half worth of racing out there at North Burleigh, and we've had 42 minutes gone. The man leading him is Kane Hughesner, but look at the gap at the top of your screen. Look at the way Kai Hurst is pulling him in. Every stroke that Hurst takes seems to be pulling in Kane Hughesner.
Interestingly, that none of the rest of the pack has been able to go with Kai. I noticed that he was swimming shoulder to shoulder with Simon Martin. And normally, if somebody comes past you in a swim like that, you can jump in on their feet, swim right behind them, virtually touching their feet, and you'll get dragged along. Kai Hurst is so much faster that none of them have been able to do it. Let's see if Kane Houston can do it as he goes by him, which I think he'll do in about the next 10 strokes.
Well, Kai Hurst was out just having a practice swim, just having a mess around just the other day, and a couple of the Meadow Lee Iron women were out there, and they just stopped and said, gee, I wish I could swim like you. The way he moves through the water is absolutely beautiful. Look at the form of a freakish swimmer right behind Kane Houston. He'll know, he'll look up, see the gold cap and think, oh no, where did this guy come from, of all people?
Well, interestingly, I mean, this is an interesting time in the race too, because we're approaching the halfway mark. This is the order, you know, with the order of the water legs, and there's a swell building up out the back too, so this will be interesting. We'll watch that as we keep talking about Kai Hurst. This is the halfway point. If he duplicates it, we know he's got a weaker swim leg, but he's, a weaker ski leg. He's obviously able to make it all up in the swim. Now, if he can do it again on the next lap, we'll probably see him fall back a bit through the board and skis, and then come back through the swim. Now, if you're in Kane Houston's position and you're in front, and you know you've got somebody like Kane Houston mowing you down, it's a bit like being in the ski for me and knowing you've got Clint Robinson coming from behind.
Well, I asked Kai Hurst if he thought that those national swimming championships, the world selections, would have interrupted his preparation. He said no. Let's go down and have a look at this jet ski shot, because Kai Hurst just fell off the back of that wave, but he does have, well, he almost had a lead on Kane Houston, but now the white water comes down. Let's see if he can hold it. Terrific surfing skills.
Great surfing.
Terrific stuff from Kai Hurst. Puts the right hand out. Now he gets the left. Now both. He's going to take this all the way and milk it. Milk it to get the lead. A new race leader in round one of the Uncle Toby's. Kai Hurst, but Kane Houston isn't that far behind. They hit the beach. Oh, fantastic stuff, Tim Bailey. You've really got to pick your mark when you get those little shore breaks.
I'm down here with Kai Hurst handler, Steve Lindsay, and he is just punching the air down here. The boy is in the front in his first ever Uncle Toby's event. He is absolutely ecstatic. The Kai Hurst fan club has ventured up from Manly, and they are jumping up and down. And Kane Houston runs past me. He now has a break basically on Kane of 25 metres, so Kane's got to do the work now. Kai Hurst, what a magnificent debut.
Here comes the cavalry too. Take a look at this. These are the guys that are going to try and mow them down as they hit the sand for more soft sand running. Well, you wouldn't ask for more spectacular stuff from Kai Hurst. He's such a terrific mover through the water, as we saw. But what about the way that he pulled this tiny little wave and milked everything out of it?
Yeah, that was great surfing. Yeah, we got Nathan Meyer there. Look at this chase pack. Stephen Meredith. We've got Guy Andrews. I saw Trevor Hendy there. There he is there now. The big number 2, Trevor Hendy. Dwayne Tyers is there. Simon Martin there. The chase pack is quality.
Talk us through this, Grant Kenny, because he got smashed by the whitewater, but somehow managed to get his body all the way in front of him.
Well, he did two things that you can see. He really pushed hard with that left arm to pull him out of the water, and he was kicking like crazy. As that wave hit him, I saw his leg go up, and he just did a big sort of breaststroke kick into the wave, and that's what propelled him onto that wave. And after that, you can see him here. He's very rigid in the water. He's keeping his head down, a nice flat planing surface, stroke on the right, breathe under the arm, kick like crazy, and milk it for all that it's worth.
Well, he certainly did that, and look at him as he gets up. He's been holding his breath for a long time. He needed some air to get into those lungs.
Well, that's the hard part about that. You know, he had to go for about 15 or 20 seconds and not take a breath. That's easy to do when you're sitting in the lounge room. It's not so easy when you're 45 minutes into a 1.5-hour race.
Well, for anybody who was down watching the Uncle Toby's trial, for the trialists to come in, you wouldn't be surprised to see this young man out in front as our Holden race clock passes the 47-minute mark in just a few seconds, because he really blitzed them in the Uncle Toby's trial. Fantastic stuff. Stay with us. Round one continues from North Burleigh right after this.
Hello, George Danikian making headlines this hour. A refund cheque from the tax office after last year's $70 million audit blitz. Tens of thousands.
King and Josh Blair lead through the second pack. They're the guys that are chasing the leaders of this race, and at this moment Kai Hurst, the 16-year-old, is leading this race as a couple of familiar names go through. Dwayne Tyers, now Simon Martin. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see it. He's doing it tough, but he's moved quite a long way up. He's looking okay, Dean Mercer. He knows he's in a pretty heavy race at the moment. Let's have a look at the Uncle Toby's race update. This was after the swim, so exactly halfway through this marathon. Kai Hurst jumped out about 4 seconds in front of Kane Husener. Lan Darragh has moved up into 3rd position. Fantastic effort from Darragh. King, Pullen, Blair, Parks and Tyres rounding out the top 10. And as I said, Dean Mercer moved up into 15th position as they hit the sand. And now they're heading back out into the water, this time with the boards under their arms.
We just saw Guy Andrews run around the corner there. He had a fantastic swim too. We see Steve Pullen, there's Scotty Reeves, Dwayne Tyres, Simon Martin. So there's a lot of big names in that pack there between about 5th through 15th positions. And, you know, a lot of work still in front of these competitors. It's a hot day and they're about halfway. The leaders now jumping on their boards as the tail enders. Here comes Dean Mercer. The backmarkers making their way around. That's Drew Cancross there. We've got Sean Kenny back in racing after a long time. Wes Berg. And back there at the back of that shot was Brett Tyack. Surprised to see him this far back.
Yeah, well, Brett Tyack had a superb winter, probably the best winter that he's ever had. He really performed so well, and he's been in terrific form, in terrific touch. So don't know what's happened to him, but he's managed to slip back. What about Guy Andrews?
Yeah, that was a tremendous swim. He had Super Series winner back in 92, 93. This is a Holden profile, 3rd place, 96. His strongest leg, he says, is the run, but I tell you what, after that swim, I really wouldn't take anything away from that. In fact, Guy Andrews is one of those Mr. Consistencies. He really doesn't have anything that he shines too much in. He is a very strong runner, but today there are so many other good runners in the field that it makes it very hard to come out in front of them. Ranked 4th into this series, put in a tremendous swim. And I'll tell you what else is interesting too about today's race. We're just coming into the second half of the race, and look how tight this pack is. There really is nothing in this race at all at this stage. Kai Hurst is out front. He gave up a fair bit of his lead during that run, I've noticed, and also in the opening part of the board leg. It looks like Kane Husener has been able to close up behind him there. Michael King we see go around right behind him. It looks like Josh Blair.
Yep, they round the boys now. It's a pretty manic situation there. They're all trying to get close. Trevor Hendy bumps his right hand shoulder into that as he bumps through. Scott Reeves, the defending champion, and Dwayne Tyres rounds it as well. And big Simon Martin, well, he'll be looking to make some moves, because now's when you've got to do it. Now's the time that you've got to get this board. You can see them negotiating their way around and probably getting buffeted by the wind a bit as well as they try and steer their way around the can.
Yeah, what's happening is this light onshore breeze, and there's not a lot of it. It's about 10 knots at the moment. Is pushing the chop directly in. So they're paddling straight at it, and as they're trying to turn right, of course, the chop's hitting straight into the board, and the boy's getting leaned over. It's just a bit of push and shove in that part. Very easy to come off there too, so competitors got to be pretty careful about that.
Well, this is our race leader, young Kai Hurst. We've had a couple of leaders already. Guy Leach, Kai Hurst out in front, looking pretty good as he's up on the knees and hands deep into the water.
How good is this kid? He's come out of the trial. He's 16 years of age, and he's beating the whole field here, like the best field we've ever had with the Mercers in here. It's just incredible, you know. He would be nervous enough as it was before the race in his first ever Uncle Toby's race, and he's just come out and done this. And I tell you what, with the swim leg being the last water leg before the run, he is a really big show here to win the whole day.
Yes, well, actually, we were just talking about that before, Leachy, and in fact, we're saying that this is a good indication at the end of the first swim leg. It's a good indication of where competitors might be at the end of the race if they remain about the same consistency. And we're seeing a big change between the good ski paddlers, the good swimmers, the good board paddlers. Kai Hurst went into the opening board, Matt, well back, and he's now starting the second board leg in the front.
He's the man out in front in the water at the moment, but our man on the sand is Tim Bailey.
Yeah, look, I've just picked up some important information on Darren Mercer. He's running second last at the moment, and he's limping noticeably. He's been in training for an endurance event, and he's hurt his ankle quite badly. In fact, in training, they thought he might have broken his ankle. It's obviously worrying him. It's blown up. He's back, well back in second last position.
Well, that's a pity for Darren Mercer, because he really was looking forward to this first race of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Of course, Darren and Dean Mercer, they only found out on Thursday that they'd be part of this, but they were prepared for it. Don't worry about that. And it was made possible because of Phil Clayton's withdrawal. He decided to take a year off from this series, and Jay Gilbert didn't make this series because of severe dermatitis, in fact. So the Mercers, well, they've been included on wild cards, and it's terrific to see them out there. Let's hope that Darren and Dean can both step up in this form. A pity for Darren. He's going to carry a pretty bad injury throughout this race. There's one of the Mercer brothers really doing it tough. And, well, that's a real tragedy to see, that you can see his ankle there strapped pretty heavily and doing it tough. Currently 34th position, as Tim said, second last in this field. But don't worry, he'll certainly try and make his way up. He's not going to give up yet. They know that they're in the Uncle Toby Super Series race.
Yes, and of course the mark of a true champion is to be able to come back from injuries like that and battle on. And I've certainly seen Darren do it before. I've seen him do it before, and we certainly wish him well on the road to recovery and for the rest of the series, because he has been working hard for it. And to be included in the last minute and have this happen is bad luck. But back to the leaders, I tell you what, Kai Hurst is another star, and there's the gap between first and second back to third position. So you've got Kane Husener and Kai Hurst working together there on the boards. Kane Husener sitting right behind him and just getting a bit of a lift on the board. In fact, may even try and take the lead at some point through this board battle, because he knows he's got to open up a lead again over Kai Hurst before they get back around to the last swim.
This is the Battle of Burleigh. Kai versus Kane. It's Hurst against Husener up at the front. Hope you can stay with us for the Uncle Toby Super Series after this. Well, there's been some tremendous changes out the front. We've seen it all the way along. That's Kai Hurst on the right-hand side of your screen. And right next to him, who's just lost the lead by about a half a board length, is young Landara. He's come up, he's overtaken Kane Husener. So now the race for first and second at this stage is between Kai Hurst and Landara. That's Kane Husener now, a little bit further back. So the field's really starting to spread out in this board leg. And we've seen some tremendous champions come through the Uncle Toby Super Series. We've seen some Olympic champions come through in the form of the guy sitting beside us in Clint Robinson. Clint, I might just get your thoughts on how important it is to develop every leg, because obviously we've seen Kai Hurst, terrific swimmer. We know that maybe one day he might be an Olympian, but if he's going to keep going in this format, as you well know, you've got to be strong at every leg.
Yeah, that's exactly correct, Matt. It's vitally important to not only be successful in one or two legs of this sport, but it's very, very important to have all four legs strong. The winner of each race isn't necessarily the winner of the overall championship. You have two bad races in a year, you can consequently come third or fourth in the series. Like we've seen, out of the last 3 years, the champions have come from guys that have not won a race all year. And being consistent on a leg such as ski paddling is vital, because like today, the surf is quite small. We don't have a lot of waves around and a lot of wind and chop, which will affect the smaller, weaker guys. But when it comes to some events where we do get a wave and it's going to buffet them around quite a bit, the guys like Trevor Hendy and Simon Martin, Scott Reeves, they power through the surf very, very well. So it's a great, I think, confidence booster for, Kai today to get here, get out in front, experience the speed with these guys, but to become consistent over the whole four legs is really what Kai has to start working on.
Yeah, that's Kai Hurst on your screen. Well, almost exactly an hour has gone. There's still half an hour. There's two youngsters out in front. Landara, at any stage in a marathon, if you can remember, at any stage when you're a youngster, when do you lose that, or when do you think you get that excitement in you, you think, gee, I might be able to take this, because there is still a half an hour to go?
I think in your mind, when you have the drive and the will to win, you have that in the first half of the race. But after half of the race, and especially after the 2/3 mark, which they're coming up to in probably the next 10 or so minutes, he's going to get that feeling and that buzz up his back, that spine and adrenaline that you get when you realise there's an opportunity, the race is yours today. And that is when a good and great champion head stays level.
I'll tell you what's interesting too, I think the young guys tend to get into that frame of mind a lot earlier and pretty much disregard the amount of pain they get to go through later in the race. And often, I think that, we're psychologically held back. Some of the smarter competitors are out there thinking, I've got to reserve a bit for later on. In actual fact, could have gone a lot faster. Some of these young guys seem to just throw caution to the wind and go hard, go hard, go hard. If they get there, great. If not, no problem. I'll give it another go next time.
Yeah, but also mistakes. I guess that's a big question, and that's where experience comes in, because you often find that the experienced competitors, the Trevor Hendys, they rarely make mistakes.
Absolutely, and this is the sort of time of the race when these sort of mistakes can cost you a race, as the guys have now rounded the can and they're making their way back into the surf area, and this is the time where you've got to pick the right line to the beach. You've got to work hard. You can't afford to sit back on your haunches too soon. Look at them looking over their shoulder. There must be a wave out the back. There's something there as these competitors are coming in, and there it is, a decent little wave, about a half metre only, but no mistakes. Everyone's handled it, so good surfing. Somebody damn near nosedived then. I can't quite see who that was.
Well, that's Scott Reeves closest to our camera. We have the jet ski on board with them as they come down heading towards the beach. Scotty Reeves, the defending Uncle Toby Super Series champion, and Landara having to do a little bit more work to stay on board. Kai Hurst, Landara and Scott Reeves Well, there's a trio, Tim Bailey, an experienced head, and two youngsters just eager to take up the fight.
Scotty Reeves with the one on his shoulder goes through first. Kai Hurst, the Manly sensation, in second spot. Landara in third. Some great surfing then to hang on to the whitewater. A big pack of probably 7 competitors chases them, but Scotty Reeves, this race is 1 hour over, and he's put himself exactly where he wants to be. Smart racing.
What about the chasing pack, Tim? There's quite a few faces in there that we've seen that we know is in good form. There's quite a few people there ready to take up. One slip by the leaders, and there's plenty to jump down their throats.
Well, the second pack coming through now. You'll recognise a few names. Dwayne Ties, Guy Andrews making a big surge, and on his hammer, Trevor Hendy. Remember him? He's coming home.
Yep, we certainly remember him. He's won this thing 4 times. That's Scott Reeves with Kai Hurst right behind him. These are our top 3 placings at the moment as they've hit the beach after that board leg. Landara right behind Kai Hurst. So the top 3 making their way up. And what about the reception that Scotty Reeves is getting? This is his beach. This is where he spends most of his time, day in, day out. They love him down here.
He was up front earlier on in the race, as we recall, but look at this, what a fantastic day it is at North Burleigh too. They've really done a great job, the club here. The crowd love it. It is a great place to see the race from. In fact, the headland is littered with people. They look like birds nesting in there from where we sit, but there's a lot of people decided to go up the headland to get a better vantage point. But Scotty Reeves, he hit the lead. He hit the lead for a little while there and then baited back into the race, but now he's come back up to the lead. And I tell you what, though, these 3 guys are not running at the pace of the competitors behind. I think there'll be a few people closing this gap up.
Well, it's that old question, Grant. Is it harder to lead or is it harder to chase? It's always a difficult question to answer, and unless you're in that singlet, unless you're in that soft sand yourself, you don't know the answer to it. This is our Uncle Toby's race update after they stepped off that last leg. Scotty Reeves leads him into the sand. Kai Hurst, Landara, Drew Blatchford and Kane Huster. Take a look at that for the changing face of Ironmen in this country. Michael and Stephen King, 6th and 7th. Scotty Thompson, Steve Pullen, Drew Cancross, Maya Blair, Parks, Dwayne Ties and Michael Watson as well, rounding out the 15.
Yes, and I tell you what, hasn't Scott Thompson bounced back? He was well back in the field there a little while, and it's him that is now in 4th position in the run and dragging some competitors up to the leaders. It could well be that Scott Thompson can almost close that gap by the time they get back down here to get on their skis. And Scotty has been going well too on the ski leg. There he is, Scott Thompson, number 23, 1 year younger than Dwayne Ties, so the second oldest in the field and still going strong. It's great to see. He's been around since the first year of the Uncle Toby Super Series, and as I say, still great to see him going well. Probably now only about 20 metres behind 3rd position. Scotty Reeves in 1st place, Kai Hurst in 2nd, Landara in 3rd, and there is Scott Thompson, as you can see, really closing in now in 4th position.
Well, they're about to hit the skis now. They're about to get back out in there. They've got 1.5 kilometres, rather 2.25 kilometres on the ski. It's back out into the water, and the 3 that let us in will lead us back out again. Kai Hurst is down on the left as the other competitors come through, and Clint Robertson, as they hit this ski leg, as they get back out there, you know that you've got Scotty Reeves. If you're a youngster like Kai Hurst or Landara, you know you've got Scotty Reeves out there. What's the plan? Do you stick by him? Do you try and get in front of him?
Because this stage of the race, the athletes will be getting very, very tired. I think it's important that for young guys like Kai Hurst, and especially Landara, that aren't known as ski paddlers, get with Scott Reeves. As you can see, Scott has certainly gapped them very quickly now. This is a position when you're tired, the skis are heavy, you don't really feel like getting your rate up, getting everything consistent, that people make big gains and big losses in races. And Scott Reeves knows in his own heart this is the place he's got to make his move, and just have a look at it. He's made 25 metres already.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. We know now that, Scott Reeves is one of the strongest ski paddlers in the field, along with, the likes of Trevor Hendy and so on. Trev's back in about 15th position at the moment, so probably he's got a lot of work to do. And in fact, as we look out some of these waves, you can see the whitewater coming through there. Of course, the back markers have still got to punch through that, while our leaders have already done that. Reeves is going to be out in front. We can tell that. I would say that we'll probably see Kane Houston come through. Scotty Thompson it was who hit the water 4th and had a good transition, will also come through. He's been paddling ski very well. These are the sort of the guys that will start to open up a little bit of gap, but they will always know they've got Kai Hurst chasing through that final swim leg.
Well, let's just see if Tim Bailey's down on the beach as they head back out through, because most of the competitors have gone through. 1 hour and 5 minutes gone on the Holden race clock. Tim, we've seen Dean Mercer go through. We haven't spotted Darren Mercer as yet.
No, and nor have I. His ski is sitting over here. There's only about 7 left on the beach. It's a lonely old 35 ski. Darren Mercer, as we said, has got a serious ankle injury. He'd been in training for an all-terrain event, not this Uncle Toby's event, and he close to broke his ankle about a week ago, so he's in trouble. It has blown up, and he won't threaten them. But what about the courage of the guy? He's still going round, and you can see he's in a lot of pain. As far as the other guys are concerned up front, Scott Thompson looked magnificent. He really looked like he was about to make a move. The further it goes, the better he likes it, and I think he's going to really come in on this ski leg now.
Yeah, well, we've got Darren Mercer on our screens right now. As you said, Tim, tremendous amount of courage. He is currently in 34th position. This would be heartbreaking for him, no doubt. He's almost around about 5 minutes behind the leaders, which is Scott Reeves at this stage. But he's battling through with a terrible ankle injury, and it's great to see him keep on going.
Certainly is, and up the front, a good friend of his, Michael King, has had an absolute blinder of a ski leg so far. He's gone from about 7th or 8th position. He's up now into 4th position. He's in fact, I can look out the window and see that he's in fact in 3rd position. That's him on the dark-coloured ski just to the left of the yellow ski of Kai Hurst. That's Michael King. Now he's going to go straight past Kai Hurst like he's standing still with his eyes firmly set on the man on the right of your screen there. That is Scott Reeves. So Michael King, a big mover in this ski leg.
Yeah, Michael King, it was unusual last year to see him so back in the field throughout most of our races, but he did have an injury problem. If I remember rightly, he broke a couple of ribs, so he suffered throughout the season. Now he's back, he's got a change of clubs, he's up at Coolum now, and he's ready to rip into this series. Don't forget, he's won this thing before, and not a lot of people have.
That's right, he is one of the very few guys who have formerly won the Uncle Toby Super Series, and he is certainly back on fire now, Michael King.
So too is this man, Scott Reeves. He is the defending series champion. Let's go down for an update on the sand with Tim Bailey.
All right, I'm down running alongside Darren Mercer at the moment. Darren, you're obviously in a lot of pain at the moment, mate.
He's struggling a little bit.
Good on you, mate. Great courage. He is struggling a little bit. He's done his ankle, as we've said. Nice of him to stop and have a couple of words as he goes. It must be heartbreaking for him. He's waited for this moment for so long.
Well, he hardly stopped him, Bailey. I tell you what, you did the hard yards on your way. I think we should congratulate you. That's the quickest I've seen you run ever. Darren Mercer makes his way out now. Yes, really is tremendous to see him go. He'd be hurting here because he's got to use his feet. He's got to use his feet on the pedals to steer his rudder as he gets out. And that ankle will be causing him all sorts of chaos as he gets out on the ski leg. Let's go back out to our leaders now. Well, that's Darren Mercer. Take a look at that. He's got his feet in the straps, and he's really doing it tough here. Oh,
he's
smashed
got
as well.
That one, yeah. Actually, what happened there was the waves. The wave has been breaking across from the left side and the right side. At first, he thought he was going to sneak through the gap, but actually, it broke right into his lap. So, I tell you what, sometimes when you're down, you really feel like people are kicking you. But up the front, I tell you what, Scotty Reeves is doing an absolutely magnificent job. I've just had a look through the binoculars. His technique looks fantastic. He's really getting good body twist and good drive off the ankles. Clint, you can see, you might explain a little bit just about the technique. Most people think that ski paddling's all about the arms, but really it's the whole body.
Yeah, that's exactly correct, Grant. The legs are the brace of the stroke. Because you're naturally sitting on your bottom the whole time, you have to drive off your legs in order to give you back that little bit more of an advantage to accelerate the paddle through the water. It's the fastest time the skis ever go is that second that the actual paddler has just left the water. So it's vitally important that you can accelerate the whole time to keep that momentum rolling.
Well, if there's one man who knows how Scott Reeves is looking at the moment, it's the man that you see on his screen. He's not competing, although he'd certainly like to be. Guy Leach, you're out there. What about the race pace that Scotty Reeves has got on?
Listen, I would not want to be competing. They're going too fast, mate. Scotty Reeves paddling faster than anyone else in the field. I went back and had to send a paddle with the rest of the field, turned around when Scotty, give me 1 second, when Scotty turned the can to come back. He's rating high. Very, very strong boy. Michael King's back in second. He's looking very, very good. And I think Scott's thoughts will be to try to get as much gap as possible before the swim lead, because Kane Hughes is back there, Kai Hurst, and even Kingy's a good swimmer as well, so I better be quiet now, I can't talk anymore.
I tell you what, Guy, between you and Tim Bailey running down the beach, we're going to have to go up to North Burleigh Surf Club and get ourselves an oxy-beaver. Poor old Scotty Reeves, he's doing the hard yards and he's looking pretty good out in front. This is round one, it's the marathon. Stay with us because there's more right after this. Sunshine and blue water of North Burleigh Beach for the Uncle Toby Super Series. Unlike last year in our marathon, we had a leader who dominated. This time, well, we've had about 3 or 4, maybe 5 leaders. Kai Hurst has been out in front, so too Landara, so too Kane Houston, but at the moment, the man leading it is the man who is the defending series champion, Scott Reeves. This is his home beach. This is his territory, and he's making his mark, Grant Kenny, in this ski leg. He seems to be getting further away, but he's got a pretty healthy competitor behind him in Michael King.
He certainly has. In fact, I think in some ways you'd almost welcome Michael to catch back up. Kingy is a very good swimmer. He's swimming very strong, as is Reevesy at the moment, but it would be a little bit easier to do some of this with someone with you being out the front. In fact, as I look out the window, Michael King has caught a huge runner on that ski and has closed up to within about 3 ski lengths of Scott Reeves. Reevesy has a little look over his shoulder. The reason he's doing that now, we haven't seen him do it yet, but the reason he does it now is he's just turned the can and he's looked back, and because of the 90-degree angle, it's easier to see who's there. Michael King's the man. Number 24, he's now closed up to second place and only probably 3 ski lengths behind. So great bit of paddling from Michael King. As I was saying, though, Reevesy had almost welcomed that at this stage. There is still a fair bit to go, 15 to 20 minutes of the race. 2 runs, 1 swim to go. It'll be good still to work with somebody else at this stage.
And we can tell you that as we watch the leaders on our screen, of course, Scott Reeves on your right and King on your left. That's Scotty Reeves. Kai Hurst, the man who led him into here, led him into this ski leg rather. Well, he's dropped back considerably. We've talked about the fact that he needs to pick it up. He's dropped back probably about 5th or 6th place at the moment.
Yeah, currently sitting in 6th position. He's got somebody also right next to him. And look at this. Scott Reeves has turned the can, picked up a nice little wave. We're picking that up from the jet ski cam. What a great shot to be on the wave with the competitors. Reeves is just turning over, having a rest. Take a look back. This can be dangerous, actually, even in a small swell. It's easy for the ski to quickly slew off, but he'll just keep the arms ticking over, let the blood flow, get rid of any lactate that might be there, suck in a bit of air, get ready for the transition back onto the beach and using those legs again.
Well, I tell you what, if there's anything tricky about it, doesn't look like it for Scott Reeves, because it looks like he's just driving a car the way he was sitting back there. Now, Michael King, he had to do a bit of work to get on board a little run, but he's pulled it in now, and Scott Reeves is already on the beach. He's already on the sand. Let's see what Michael King can do as the other competitors come through. And once again, Tim Bailey, these tiny little runs, this little shore break, that little bank and that little gutter could well prove the difference at the end.
Scotty Reeves picked up a lovely wave. Then, as soon as he turned, he was on one. He got it all the way to the beach, which does one of 2 things. It gives him a breather, and he gets to the beach fairly quickly. Michael King wasn't quite as lucky. He's probably 40 metres behind Reeves now. I tell you what, North Burleigh knows Scotty Reeves lives here. Every time he hits the beach, they go up as one. That's got to help him enormously as we head into the last 20 minutes. And there goes Drew Blatchford and Scotty Thompson in 3rd and 4th. It's on for young and old.
Oh, incredible changing fortunes of this race. We've had so many different leaders, so many different challenges, and as Tim just said, well, that's Landara on your screen, but as Tim just said, Drew Blatchford and Scott Thompson move up into the top 5 placings as well, 3rd and 4th, in fact, as Scotty Reeves makes his way past his home club, past his home crowd, underneath the arch. He's on his way for the run. There's still the swim to come.
Yeah, he does look good too. He's just striding it out. I noticed at the transition, I think you can tell a lot from these guys when they first hit the beach. Reevesy hit the beach and really took off. He just strode right out and really put on a lot of pace. I think he wanted at this point to say to Kingy, look, you might be close, mate, but I'm not giving it in yet.
2 of the biggest guys in the field, in fact. These are big men, Scott Reeves and Michael King. You'd think that in this kind of heat, in that kind of soft sand, it's going to hurt these guys the most, but it looks to be Scotty Reeves, well, he looks as comfortable as he can be.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I think the other thing about it too is what they're demonstrating to us here is consistency. Both these guys are competent board paddlers, they're competent swimmers, as we've already seen. They're the 2 strongest ski paddlers in the field, and they're getting by nicely, thanks very much, in the run legs. But, you know, there's some quality back there. If you look in the background of the screen, you can see, oh, well, Reeves is in front of you. Then you can see Michael King. The next man back there is Scott Thompson, a very good runner, and right behind him is Drew Blatchford. So, you know, there's a lot of quality back there in the run field as well.
Yep, they're heading out on the run leg. They'll take around the turn of the Holden 4x4 turn at the end. They'll make their way back up north along the beach, and then it's into the swim, and then it's really a race for survival after that, because as we might just update the race for you a little shortly, and we'll try and see where Kai Hurst has come in, because because we know how much of a tremendous swimmer he is. We know that 6, 7, 8 places doesn't seem to faze him in that swim. It's all a matter now of whether or not he has enough in the tank to make a move.
Well, what's a little different this time around, we've got to remember, though, is that being 10th position back, as we take a look at the Uncle Toby's race update, after the ski leg, remember, this is how they hit the beach. Reeves, King, Blatchford, Thompson, Dara. There's your top 5. Looking through the next 10, there's Steve King, Steve Pullen, Guy Andrews, Kai Hurst. There he is, 9th position, 1 minute and 8 seconds behind. The difference this time around is that 9th position on the first time around in the swim was probably only about 20 or 30 seconds behind. Now 9th position is 1.5 minutes because the field's starting to spread out a little bit. So he might be the same number of positions back, but he's almost double in time, meaning, of course, he's got a lot more work to do. And I'm sure the guys in front are well aware of that. They are thinkers. These competitors think as they race, and that is important to be a winner.
Tim Bailey, Scotty Reeves already in the water. Michael King is right on his hammer, right behind him. Let's see what they do here. It's all a matter of porpoising and getting your way through.
There could also be there with him, and it could end up, we could see 3 competitors on a wave for the beach at the end of this race. What a fantastic race.
I'll go in, Marty.
I tell you what, in more ways than one, they are certainly swimming into the unknown. And look at Kai Hurst. This 16-year-old is really putting on the gas. He's right up next to Scott Reeves. Scott Reeves, don't forget, is the man who won this entire series last year. He's the man to beat yet again. This is his home beach, and he's got a youngster, a 16-year-old, bearing down right beside him. Fantastic stuff.
There's a wave building up out behind these 2 competitors. So have a look. They're kicking hard, pushing. Is anyone going to get it? No! Oh!
You just sworn that Hurst was on it. Kai Hurst just managed to get across the top, but then it came straight over the top of both of them. This is going to be a run to the finish. There's no question about it. Now Scotty Reeves waits for the next one. Kai Hurst still swimming, still trying to kick over. Can they get this little run? No. Another one goes.
Yes, this is probably the worst nightmare for Scott Reeves.
Well, look behind.
Josh Blair moves over to the right. He's going to pull this, is he? Josh Blair is on the wave.
Now it's a race in 3s. Blair's on it, Reeves is on it, and Kai Hurst is on it as well.
Who's going to milk it the furthest?
Well, Reeves has dropped off.
He's lifted his head.
Scotty Reeves is gone. Scott Reeves has gone off that wave. He's really going to have to do a lot of hard work. Now it's Josh Blair and Kai Hurst. The sprint is on. Look at the sprint, these youngsters. Josh Blair, he's managed to pull himself out of the water first. Blair should keep it. Hurst is after him. Blair should keep this. He's got the race experience. And Scott Reeves, well, he's blown it on that one wave. Unless he can perform a miracle here, he's not going to peg these guys down. That's Josh Blair. He's running towards victory on the soft sand at North Burleigh.
Josh Blair, what a fantastic bit of swimming. He worked hard to get that wave. He had to move across to pick up the wave. It worked out well for him, and then when he hit the beach, he was better positioned for that run up through the arch. So just in 2nd place, Kai Hurst. In 3rd, we've got Scott Reeves, but mowing him down in 4th position is Scott Thompson.
Well, they've come around the Holden 4x4 turn. That's Scott Reeves. He knows he's lost this one. He knows he's going to have to settle for 3rd. He won't want to look over his shoulder and see Scotty Thompson bearing him down. Look at Josh Blair. Josh Blair, well, he rode that little wave in. He milked it all the way. His arms are up. He knows he's got this one. Josh Blair, the youngster, he's got it. The arms go up. The Uncle Toby Super Series round 1, and Josh Blair is our winner. Oh, terrific stuff from Josh Blair. What an incredible victory. Here comes Scotty Reeves. He's come up into 2nd and 3rd off Kai Hurst, who can barely stand. And Scott Thompson will come in into 4th position. Good on you, Scott Thompson. You're an old campaigner. Fantastic to see you in the top 5. Oh, what a terrific race finish. And Michael King comes in 5th position.
Good racing from Michael King too. Well, what a spectacular finish. Have we ever seen a race like that? I don't think so, not for a long time. Across the line now is Kane Houston. We saw him up there leading for such a long part of this race. There's Drew Blatchford. He's had a good race too. Look at the exhaustion on the face of these competitors. They've really worked hard in the heat. There's really no respite from the heat in the water. The water temperature's 21 degrees. Number 16, that's Landara, also had a great first swim leg, which I think really set him up to come through at the end here.
And another competitor, that's Drew Cancross coming across the line. So pretty spread-eagled across the first 10, 15 positions. Scotty Reeves will look back at this race and remember when he pulled his head back, he just dropped off. Guy Andrews comes across. Poor old Scotty Reeves dropped off that wave, and Josh Blair took the initiative. We said it was a history-making event at the start. Well, history's been made thanks to Josh Blair as well. Tim Bailey has our winner.
I have got one of the happiest father and son combinations in Australia. Alan and Josh Blair. To the victor the spoils, $15,000. Josh, that was a fantastic last swim. Everything from the heart.
That's exactly right. I knew Reeves, he was sort of out there on his own, so he was going to have to do the work by himself. I tucked in there behind Kai Hurst, and I knew he was going to drag me up. It doesn't matter who was going to get back to the wave area, and skill showed in the end. I held the wave the furthest. We got stuck a bit in there in no man's land, and I just brought it home that last run.
Third overall last year. You've really matured as a racer. You've taken the next step, haven't you?
That's exactly right. I mean, I had a slow start today, but slowly worked my way through the field, and after last summer, I sort of set my goal to win a race this year, and to do it at the first race, it means so much.
I tell you what, the ticker on your father over here was going 19 to the dozen. It's all right to cry on television, Alan. I saw the tears. You're thrilled.
Oh, sensational to leave it to the last bit, the last wave of the race, get it up, come across the line, win it. We're only in front for the last minute, 2 minutes of the race. It was sensational.
And guess what? That's the minute or 2 minutes that counts, Joshy, doesn't it?
That's exactly right. You're there at the finish.
Thank you very much, mate.
Good on you as Trevor Hendy there takes a bit of a breather with his daughter. And I can tell you what, when you look through these profiles of these updates, Trevor Hendy actually said the man to beat this year is Josh Blair. So coming from a master who knows, he's picked it in one, Trevor Hendy. I hope he had some money on Josh.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Joshy Blair's been up there for a long time. He was one of the real stars last year. As a youngster, he really, I think, comes with a lot of maturity in his racing. He's not afraid to come from behind. I don't think he ever sits back there intentionally, but he's certainly a competitor that keeps his cool. I think he's a pretty good all-rounder. It was great. I think his swim, in fact, was what held him up in this particular race. But as he said right at the end there, you know, he saw Kai Hurst coming, and he said, right, I'm going to get on his feet. I'm going to go like crazy because he will drag me up to the finish. Now, he was slowly doing that anyway, but not with enough gap to catch Scott Reeves at that time.
Look at the people down here at North Burleigh Beach. Let's go down now to Tim Bailey again.
And I tell you what, a crowd of 10,000 people, just about all of them were barracking for this fella, Scotty Reeves, a defending champion. That would be one of the heartbreaking finishes you've been in.
That's going to be, I reckon, the hardest race I've ever done in my life. I just could not believe how much depth we've got in our series these days. You just drop off the front and you look behind and there's another 10 or 15 guys just behind you, so it's so hard. It's making it harder and harder each race to be up the front.
You set the race up for yourself to finish highly with some beautiful ski paddling. Your strength, particularly against the strong nor'easter, that really showed.
Yeah, I'm always confident as soon as I get onto the ski, I know that I can make up a bit of ground or put a bit of ground between myself and the people behind me, even though I don't have to do a lot of work on it. It's one of those things that just come natural to me.
Josh Blair's given a bit of cheek for a young fella, and so's Kai Hurst, isn't he?
Yeah, I looked around, coming around the last swim can, I could see Kai closing in pretty fast, and I didn't actually know that Josh was there as well, but I seen Kai come up on my shoulder, and we both stood up in the shallows and turned around, and Josh was on a wave.
All right, well, here he is, a sensation. Kai, let me congratulate you. You made the trials and you almost got away with glory here. To finish third in your first ever Uncle Toby's race, that is a special achievement.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Like, I was just in there to have fun and do the best I could. And, like, the first time round in that swim leg, I came out, like, I was really picking up the front guys. And after that, all I had to do was just hold it from there. And, like, the board, I held it. And then the ski, I dropped off a little bit. And then into the last leg of the swim, I was feeling like pretty good and confident, and I picked up a few more competitors, and I was caught the guy who was out in front coming in, and then there was like 4 or 5 of us who caught the front wave, and then after that I just had to work the run leg.
All right, you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, the future face of Ironman racing. Congratulations, Kai Hurst, a great race. Back to you, Matty.
Thanks very much, Tim. That's certainly him, and there's another young face, Stephen King, sucking in the atmosphere as round 1 of the Uncle Toby Super Series comes to a close. Stay with us. We're going to wrap it up from North Burleigh Beach right after this break.
Things for perfection that made the difference when Josh moved across to pick up that little wave. Great race, very exciting. I'm really looking forward to the season.
Well, not only has Josh Blair stepped up into the victory dais as far as the Uncle Toby Super Series goes, but he's got some vital points, 35 in fact, for winning today's race. Scott Reeves, of course, second with 34. A tremendous performance from Kai Hurst in third, and Kane Houston there down in 6th.